Merry New Year's, Bagel Bros, and welcome back to another Patreon rant. If you want one of these for yourself, be sure to give me $10 a month on Patreon. This one comes from Katie Pack, who says, rant about the piece of media you are most passionate about, despite not having ever seen/read it. If nothing comes to mind, rant about an interesting internet story that you never plan on making a full-fledged video about. If that doesn't work for you, rant about how body positivity is still important and we should not be rude with our language. If that isn't your view, rant about the people you know who have the worst taste in media. If you don't like that one either, rant about why you haven't watched Tamayura. So, this is a lot of rant requests. You know what, we're just gonna go down the list real quick. So, rant about the piece of media you're most passionate about despite having not seen. That would probably be Pathologic. Pathologic is a video game that is not supposed to be fun. It is supposed to be torture to play. It is extremely long, filled with backtracking. It has like a bunch of survival mechanics that are all designed to make you feel like you are suffocating at all times. And the game's final reveal, spoiler alert, this is a huge Pathologic spoiler if you ever want to, play the game. The ending is, it's revealed that everything you went through was just made up. It is just a story. It isn't real. It was just a bunch of kids playing. And then the twistier fucking twist is that the kids aren't real either. And then you get to talk with the developers of the game. And they get to talk about how, yeah, the entire game was just made to fucking bully you. Like, the entire game has this idea of artifice behind it. Everything is framed as if it's not really happening. There are these characters that exist outside the fourth wall. The entire thing is framed as a play. It's clearly building up to this twist, but it is still supposed to be a gut-wrenching, frustrating, infuriating twist. It is supposed to make you mad that you went through upwards of like 80 hours of this shit. It is a very long game, only to find out that your reward for getting the secret ending is to be told none of it mattered anyway, and you did all this for nothing. That is the point of the game, and it is very interesting in that regard. It is about the commentary, like the conversation that happens between art and artist. It's about a bunch of people who make a game just to make fun of the player and put them through fucking tribulations and bullshit. Like, it is a very interesting game to think about, but I have not played it, and I do not think I ever will. I was actually reading the Rock, Paper, Shotgun article that inspired H-Bomber Guy's video, as well as a bunch of other videos and think pieces on Pathologic, just yesterday on my phone while I was, walking around with my cat because she was bored and wanted me to follow her around the house. So I just had that Rock, Paper, Shotgun article on my phone screen. I don't think he actually got to the secret ending because he said all the theatrical stuff didn't lead anywhere thematically. Yes, it did. Anyway. Fuck. Next rant. Rant about an interesting internet story you will never make a video about. I already did that in one of the rants, Ruby Quest. I might still make that video, but probably not. Let me see. If that doesn't work for you, rant about how body positivity is still important. Well, that's a direct response to Funky Boy Haas's rant, and I basically said all that. If that isn't your view, it is, but, rant about people who have the worst taste in media. I'm trying to think. Like, I know there are definitely people who I have strongly disagreed with the takes of. I know recently... Okay, so, you know what? I'll go into this. Recently, there has been a war in my private friend group in our Discord server about the quality of Chainsaw Man Reze Arc. I think it's like a light 7. I do not think it's nearly as good as most other people are saying it is. And you would be surprised to know, most of my friends actually feel the same way or dislike it even more. Rufus, I think, gave it a 6. Jozu gave it like a 5, I believe, something like that. He's the channel artist, for the record. And so, most of my friends are not super happy with it. Namaj gave it a 7. Like, it's not that good. Most of the movie is just one giant bloated action scene that goes on way too long. The fucking baby tornado devil thing. Like, why was that even there? It was an extra 10 minutes fighting this fucking thing. And it just made this giant action scene even longer. I am not an action fan in general, although I do like Chainsaw Man, but I like Chainsaw Man for its characters and its humor and its heart. I don't like it for, and then half the movie was a boring fucking action scene. Like, I like action scenes in small bursts, and I like action scenes where there's tactics and things actually happening, but this action scene is mostly just, and then Denji revved the chainsaw even harder, and started cutting things up even more, followed by a bunch of very flashy animation that does look quite good, and stops it from being as boring as it could have been, but I was still bored. I was still very much not having a good time. Everything before that point was very, very good, and once we got to that point, I very much tapped out, and also Reze is not an interesting character whatsoever. That being said, Neon Manta really disagrees with that. He gave it a 9 out of 10. He thinks it's better than the anime, and that take is not inconceivable to me, but people have been bullying him for it and arguing with him because it's just such a weird take. I don't get how people like the movie more than the anime. The anime is clearly way better. The movie didn't say anything that the anime didn't already say. Why was it even a movie? It would be way better if it was just like the first 4 or 5 episodes in like a season 2. There was no reason for this specifically to be a movie. Yeah, I don't know. Neon's wrong. Also, for the record, if any of you watching this give Chainsaw Man Reze Arc a 10 out of 10, please genuinely let me know. Like, I seriously want to know, because it is inconceivable to me that it is number 2 on my anime list right now. Like, sure, I get it, it's hype, it's gonna go down with time. The fact that it ever got here is baffling to me. It does not deserve to be anywhere close to that high of a score. You know, at least Frieren, even though I also don't like that as much as people say, it's like, I still respect Frieren. If it stayed number 1 on my anime list, I would be fine with it. I don't want Chainsaw Man Reze Arc up there. I think it's way worse than Frieren, and I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And then, if you don't like that one either, rant about why you haven't watched Tamayura, there's no reason. I just haven't gotten to it yet. That's about it. See